So, does God allow suffering? It's been a question that has been asked by, it's a famous question, right? That's been asked by Christians, anyone who believes in Jesus, or even God. Um, does he enjoy other people's suffering? Why does bad things happen to good people? Why does bad things happen all around the world? And does God not see it? So why does he let these things happen? Again, like I said, it's a famous question that's been asked by many of those Christians, right? But my question to you today is: have you ever sat there and asked God, why? Why does it have to hurt so much? Why does life have to hurt so much? Maybe you lost someone you love. Maybe you've been praying for healing, um, for answers, for miracles, many other things, but it feels like the heaven has gone silent. Maybe God is enjoying himself, not really helping us. I've asked that question too, and if I'm being honest, it's one of the hardest ones in the Christian walk of life. If God is good, why does he allow suffering? Right? But before you click away today, I want to ask you the same question. Why do you think that happens? Please comment below. I would like to know as well. And here's what I think, though. And I want to talk to you about, again, and be real with you. Not the church answer, of course, not the cliche that you always hear, but the truth that helps you breathe again when life hurts. People sometimes act like asking God why means you lack faith, but that's not true. I don't believe that. Even the strongest believers in the Bible that I have read about have asked the same question, right? Job asked, "Why, Lord?" David cried, "How long, O God?" And Jesus himself, who's the Son of God, cried on the cross and said, my God, why have you forsaken me?" So is he not being a good Christian then? So if you ever felt confused, angry, or even disappointed in God, you are not alone. God isn't offended by your pain. He understands it. He doesn't silence, of course, our questions. He meets us within them. You can be both hurting and holy, both confused and still chosen. So you can ask questions. Here's something that changed my perspective about this question. What if pain isn't always punishment but preparation? Think about it, right? Like Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold and forgotten. Yet every painful chapter prepared him to lead and forgive, become one of the greatest kings, right? David spent years running from Saul, and those lonely caves that he was in became the classroom where God shaped a king. Jesus himself endured the cross, and through that suffering came our salvation. See, God doesn't waste pain, I don't think. He uses it to strengthen what comfort would leave weak. Sometimes the very thing that breaks your heart is building your character, is what I think. I know what it feels like when you pray and it feels like nothing's happening. You start wondering, God, are you even listening? But here's the truth. Silence is not his absence. Sometimes God's silence is his way of saying, you got to trust me in the dark. And we see that with all of these great people that has gone before us, isn't it? So remember, the teacher is quiet during the test. So just because you can't hear him, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is not near. In fact, God does some of his best work behind the scenes. We read that in the Bible. He's lining up timing, healing, and growth that you can't see right now. And when the time is right, it'll all make sense. You'll look back and say, oh, that's what you were doing. Right? And you probably have those experiences in your life, even as we speak, where you can look back and see that God has had your time, had your best interest in his heart. So when people ask, where is God when it hurts, I point to the cross. God didn't avoid pain, he stepped right into it. The very moment that looked like defeat, Jesus suffering on the cross, was actually the moment that victory was written. So I think that's how God works. He turns death into life, sorrow into joy, pain into purpose. So if he can redeem the cross, he can redeem what you and I are walking through right now. You might not see the good yet, but that is okay. I can promise you it's coming because it has come to my life. Therefore, let me tell you something, my friends who are here at this point, and to till this point, you might feel forgotten, but you are not forsaken. The same God who walked through fire with Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, the same God who met Elijah in a whisper, the same God who turned Joseph's pain into a platform, that same God is walking with you even right now. So every tear you cried, he's counted them. Every night you felt alone and weak in your knees, I promise you he's been there. You may not understand the why right now, but please trust the who. So if you're in a storm right now, don't let it convince you that God has left you alone. He's not punishing you, he's preparing you. Don't question your standing with God. And one day, when the light breaks through those clouds, you will say, it was painful, but it had its own purpose. So if you think, that's exactly what you're going through right now in your life, please like, comment, share it with somebody that might want to hear that today. I'll see you in the next video.